downwind it was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
Well, good morning. Hope you've digested all your dogma burgers you've been ingesting for the last 34 years. Crawl to your dogma snuggies for a few minutes. I know it's hard to do because everyone's branded themselves. It's on a team, you know. It's like sports. We branded ourselves. We're a certain team's fan. When you ask them, name 3 players on the team, they don't even know who they are. You go to an NBA game or an NFL game, branded. Politically branded. Dogma. Corruption in your face, left and right. Don't care. Don't care. I live in the most corrupt place on the face of the earth, and I've watched it evolve. Utah is the most corrupt place on earth, bar none. It is the most fascist place on earth. The place that should be protesting, screaming the loudest. This is much worse than Italy in the 30s. Much worse. We have a hardcore corrupt governor, Dirty Herbie. You talk to people, say he signed in and brought all the nuclear waste, got kickbacks. We know he has emails. The FBI come out and says they have emails to the governor, to our senator, from Swallow and Shirtlift, the 2 sitting attorney generals who have both been handcuffed at their house, arrested, charged with 1311 felony counts. The head of the RNC themselves in the Washington Post reported several months ago that if these are true, which we know they're true, they're out there, these are crimes that people go to prison for. This is a sitting United States senator who's pulling people off Medicaid every chance he gets, including me illegally. He pulled me off Medicaid illegally. His brother's on the Supreme Court. Now remember, this is the same report that overturned Warren Jeffs' conviction. Now you do know about Warren Jeffs. If you don't, you learn up. He was raping young females here for decades. They knew. They don't care. Pay to play. Had it on his door. Had it on his door. Whistleblower, the FBI, to the Justice Department. She said in her FBI thing, handled it on a silver platter. Right to them. They refused to do anything. It's amazing. It's amazing the fascism they've gone along with. Uncle Tom Obama? Oh, boy, did we name him right. Greatest betrayal in U.S. history? No doubt about it. Any African-American who still likes this guy, whoa. What are you going to learn? He really is Dick Cheney's cousin, by the way, which was exposed right here by Ancestry.com, which is another Mormon scam. And that's how they play here. Danielle Willard, murderer, shot her in the face, blew her face off. Was charged. It was charged. You know how they won't charge him? Oh, he was charged. Yet there's no due process here. The amendment of the Constitution, the first of the Bill of Rights, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, they're all in due process. He was charged. The people of Utah have the right to have a jury decide whether he's guilty or not. Judge refuses to let go forward after he's been charged. Now know this on the Daniel Willard case. 21-year-old girl. She pulls up. She's got this punk-ass loser boyfriend. She has no idea. Pulls up to a house. Hey, I got to run in here, girl, for a minute. Can you, hang on. Can you drive me over there? Sure. Drives him over. This Cowie punk, geeked up, freaking wound up punk. They pull up to the house. They've got the house staked out. Selling dope. Meth house, supposedly. That's never been proved either. Gonna arrest the kid. Guns fly out everywhere. That geeked up, gung-ho, freaking cowboy cop freaking show. I'm Dirty Harry. So they're all geeked up. Now remember, this is a 21-year-old, very beautiful, cute young girl. Great girl. So he claims in his testimony and in the police report, the guy who blew her face off through the window and killed her in the car, that she tried to back over him, and that she swallowed a balloon that had drugs in it. 1, autopsy shows no drugs in her system. 2, on the stand. The police internal investigation goes on the stand. He says, no. The ballistics show that she was not shot from behind. She did not try to run him over. The car was in drive. Her foot was on the brake. He put her gun in her face. She got scared. She did not push the gas pedal. She did not move. He shot her from the side through the glass. The car was not moving. This is the internal investigation says this. He blows her face off. When he blows her face off, the foot goes down on the gas pedal and just the car goes into a stand. A hardcore, blatant, freaking premeditated, malice freaking murder that you get hung for in this firing squad in the state. Utah's brought back the firing squad. For real. For real. This is a fascist sick place. The judge rules. Now, how this can happen? No grand jury. No, this isn't a grand jury situation. He was already charged. The prosecutor in Salt Lake County charged this cop. Well, he should have been charged with first-degree murder 1. Manslaughter. It was murder 1. Charged him with. The judge refuses to let it go forward. We can go on. There's a doctor here in Utah named Dewey McKay. David O. McKay's grandson, connected in the Mormon Church, so connected, wrote how many millions and millions of prescriptions, killing people left and right. Oxycontin, killed an AKK scientist. The feds take him to court, goes to prison. He's convicted. The Mormons do everything to hold him out of prison. Rob Bishop, our congressman, the congressman in northern Utah, the lunatic, most insane person you will ever meet. You think Screwy Lou in Texas? People here don't even know who he is. Hairsprayed moron. Now get this. He is the character witness. I'm his bishop on the stand. They convict him. Throw him in prison. He won't go to prison. Find the feds, come pick him up, put him in prison. Well, when I understand the Utah State Prison, there's a Mormon church in there. Now, Utah's all 0 to 1, 1 to 15, 1 to 15. Why? So they, of course, they just play the Mormon card. A judge, against federal freaking law, against when this guy's been convicted, has signed him out of prison. For real. I mean, you get away with anything you want. And if you don't think you get away with murder here, let's get real about this. Mark Hacking. Mark Hacking. Biggest case you ever heard of here several years ago. Look up Mark Hacking. He's connected to a bunch of University of Houston doctors, connected heavily in the Mormon Church's family. I know her, his wife, he's married to, she's half Mexican. Cute girl, really beautiful, cute girl. She finds out he's lying about med school. He's not, blah, blah. He's just a pathological liar. She's going to leave him. Typical freaking punks, what they do here. Puts a pillow over her head. Watch it. He knows she has just told him that she's pregnant with his child. Kills her. Wraps her body up in some sheets. Throws her in a dumpster at the University of Utah in the medical incinerator. Thinking that she'll be burned at Stair Cycle, where they burned the mad cow, the Stair Cycle corruption. The state of Utah spends tens of millions of dollars looking for her body at the Salt Lake City dumps all year. Millions and millions. They find her body. They find out a double homicide and killed his own baby. This is a slam dunk in Utah. He's getting the chair in Utah. Well, not in the chair. He's getting the firing squad. They're going to kill him. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. Prosecutor, who's the same prosecutor, who's now been charged with 13 felony counts, comes forward and says, oh, no, we've struck a deal. Pay to play. Which he had taped on his door, paid to play. Why the feds don't step in? He gets 1 to 15. You get 1 to 15 to get caught with a marijuana seed in this state. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Look it up. 1 to 15 for a double homicide. Wow. Wow. It goes on and on. A young man dressed up in a costume with a sword. Darren Hunt. Comic Con's just been here. Now think about the person who calls the cops. This is because, look, the far right in this thing, the Mormon Church, the evangelicals, they're cowards. They're pussies. They're the biggest cowards on the face of the earth. They're afraid of their own shadow. You know, they believe that freaking anybody that does drugs should be executed. They believe this shit because they're devils. The Mormon Church is hardcore devils. When are you going to wake up and realize this? The evangelicals in this country are hardcore devils. These are devils. Completely opposite of anything to do with Jesus Christ. The foundation of their so-called religion is Jesus Christ. Christianity is based on Jesus Christ. I mean, I talk to people. There's actually people here, these good Mormons, that will tell you Jesus Christ wrote the Bible. This is how insane these people are. They think he had blonde hair and blue eyes. They think he liked to murder people for fun. They think he buy here, pay here usury. Never in the history of humanity has this ever happened, ever. This is completely upside down. This is fascism on alcohol. Now, you think fascist people want to jump into Hitler. Oh, no. Let's go to Mussolini. Let's go to Franco. That's fascism. Well, what is fascism? Let's see. The bleeding of the military and the state. No separation between church and state. How was they able to pull it off in Italy? Oh, muck, please. The Catholic Church in Italy, who runs the show? You know, the people they've murdered over the freaking years. What do you think they do in Utah? Mormon Church is evil, hardcore corrupt. Now, they're losing members. They have less than 4 million members active. They will tell you. I know Merlin Jensen, the head of that freaking historian, personally. He comes out and says, we got a major problem with the Internet. I says, you don't have a major problem with the Internet. You have a major problem telling the fucking truth. Fascism, mass murdering fucks. So, the eruption. I knew it would happen in New York. I knew the eruption would happen. The whole country's a fascist state. Fascism. The military completely runs the show. We got rid of tariffs, so there are no jobs. You cannot compete with 37 cents an hour. You can't even have a conversation with these idiots with tariffs. All these people are rich. They should be rich. Yeah, they bow to royals. Look at the Royals are in New York City right now. Did you know Royal dared even set foot in this country for a long, long time? Because they would have got shot. On my words, president's words, for clear up into the 60s. They didn't dare set foot here. Americans hated the English system, hated the Royal. We're the ones that broke the back of the Royal system. Huh. Now they'll line it up to go see them in tinted glass. Oh, look, you think it's an irony they named the baby George? Do you know how hated King George was in this country? Do you have any clue? George Washington, Hamilton, Jefferson, Governor Morse, do you know how bad they hated? You know how bad Americans hated the royal system? Even when I was a kid. Hated them. Not now. But you think about it. You think about people lining up and crying in the United States to worship some bloodlines, some inbred bloodlines, baby rapers, that bruise. They line up to worship them because they were born into this. Wow. Wow, what a sick company. Foxconn News. Hairspray. Right out of the... Rupert Murdoch tell you, right to your face. I'm even embarrassed we made it this far. It was completely developed out of the House of Windsor, out of the House of Hanford, to backdoor the American system. Everybody they hire, whatever. And these people sit around. Fox News is the most anti-American freaking terrorist freaking organization in the history of America. Fox News is a terrorist organization. Hardcore terrorist. They are a well-orchestrated terrorist organization. Look up the word terrorist. Fox News are terrorists. They hire terrorists. They find the dumbest people they can find. Look, you run for office, and they completely hijack the Republican Party. Not my words, Eisenhower's daughter's words. Their speaking point comes right out of whatever Fox News tells them, these monkeys, that's what they do. That is the Republican Party. And if you think that's a lie, freaking check it out. Whatever they spew, they just repeat it. Every single time they find these people. Run for office, act like a moron, whatever, and then get your show. Of course, then you have CNBC. NBC owns the nuclear reactor. CNBC. the propaganda mouthpiece. I can tell you how pathetic the American populace is. I'm in New York City. Flood Wall Street. We've got Wall Street shut down. We're sitting on the corner of Trinity, right across from Hamilton's grave, right there, as I do my lectures at Hamilton's grave, as you know, over and over and over. Tim DeChristopher, my neighbor, sitting right there by me. I said, it's pretty bad, Tim. We've got to meet in the streets of freaking Manhattan, and we live right by each other. Because we can't associate with each other in Utah. They'll shoot us. For real. For real. They kill people left and right. Hang people in jails. I mean, it's on. You even blink around here, they will kill you. Everybody says, why do you stay? Yeah, good question. People don't stay. That's the problem. Anybody who gets a degree or anybody that's dynamic, whatever, they get out. Oh, boy, do they get out. They get out right now. And they have for a while now, a long while. So what's left behind? These people are insane. They are devils. They are hardcore devils. We're in the streets of Manhattan. Have lockdown. CNBC comes over and wants to report live. And everybody knows what CNBC, they're the propaganda mouthpiece for the 1%. Now, let's remember, Carl Quintanilla and whatever that punk's name is, does the interview with Stratford. How does it feel to be a billionaire? He's on, oh, it feels great, but that's on CNBC. Now, you know he's sitting in prison. Madoff, they promoted Madoff. They promote all these freaking rape artists to the American public. They're the mouthpiece for the 1% thieves, CNBC. Remember Mark Haynes would sit on there with, who's Aaron Burnett, who's now on CNBC, or on CNN. Remember in the mornings he would sit there and he would just mock death. He would laugh at death. Remember their Cheetos? And he'd say, oh, you environmentalists. He stood up in his chair a few years ago, very young, and this is what an arrogant prick this guy is. He had young children. I mean, you want to talk about self-indulgent prick. He had young kids. Stood up over his chair, massive heart attack, dropped dead on the set. Mocking death. So I'm in the streets here at CNBC. They got the balls to come report right in the center of the street. I'm not about to let them. I know these people. I'm an ex-Wall Streeter. I was on Wall Street for years. So right there, I'm screaming, you fucking black and yellow whores. And I'm not letting them. It's video right there. And everybody's like, well, don't talk to him. I said, what is the matter with you protesters? You're going to let them do that? So then they pull the van up and he hides behind the van. So I go get into his face. So then ABC comes up and tries to posh and groom. I get into it. The guy pushed me. He pushed me. I knocked him right on his ass, right in the middle of the street, right in front of Hamilton's grave. He pushed me in the chest, and I went, you know me. I'm very physical, by the way, extremely physical, even for my age. Even though I went through this hardcore chemo, I'm an incredibly physical person. I could still add off well over 100 push-ups, even though my body desecrated from leukemia. I've always never lost a wrestling match in 4 years in a freaking powerhouse state. Yeah, I go out and kicked off teams, whatever. I knocked him right on his guy. I said, come on, you touched me? And there's Cop right there. Cop told the freaking ABC guy. The cop asked me, do you want to charge this guy with assault? And I said, fuck no. I want to kick his ass. Let's fight. And then when the guy got over the ground, I said, do you need me to go buy you a beer, you rat motherfucker? Push me, punk. And this guy was twice my size. Knocking right on his ass so fast he didn't even know what hit him. Should have seen the cameraman. Nearly shit his pants. I'm sure he pissed his pants because I got in his face too. These Uncle Tom fucking punks. Yet as protesters, we allow them. I mean, you just use your voice. We have the right. Under the First Amendment, you have the right. Get this. And everybody at Million Mask March can, and let's know this in concrete, factual, fucking hardcore detail, how the Million Mask group came about. John Anthony Fairhurst, that young man in Boston. He came to me. It was his idea, the name. He came to me very early. He organized it. It's his baby. He came to me, and he's like, Kevin, you can post ignorance. What about joining in with mine? I'm going to call it Million Mass. Let's join it together. And he organized it. He put it together. And, then I was the first guy in. Steve Pratt. And we have a group that are amazing. There's a small group, probably about 300 strong. We all know each other personally from D.C. the last 2 years. That are the greatest human rights activists in the world, except for Megan Rice. Bar none. These people get every issue. They're young. I'm the old geezer of the group. For real. I mean, these people that are associated with Million Mass March are the greatest human rights activists in the world right now. Some asshole on freaking Facebook comes to me and he says, well, I doubt any one of them doesn't even know what Fukushima was. I says, are you kidding? I guarantee you every single one of them knows it in hardcore detail. These people know every single detail. They don't fall for dogma. We don't fall for dogma. We're intense. We understand the First Amendment in detail. And if you don't think that the government is afraid of us, you don't think these fascist pricks are afraid of us, watch what we get away with. Nobody gets away with what we get away with. Because they know we are on the right side of the issue. And a lot of these cops and a lot of these reporters, they know. They like us. They're breaking ranks and want to join with us. We get people coming up to us, cops, get out of the car, Kevin, I won't go on camera with you. I love you. You keep going. This is Washington, D.C. police, New York City police, Kevin. My wife wants to cook you dinner. Can you come over? We love you. These are cops. They know we're on the right side of the issues. We know this is the people's house. When we stormed the Capitol and threw the freaking gates up on the fence, that's totally illegal. It's illegal for them to be sitting that thing off. Homeland Security's who tasered us. That's it. Not D.C. police. We blocked down the whole freaking city. Stormed the FBI. Put the fear of God. We stormed Monsanto's secret headquarters on 1300. Put the fear of God in them. That's what we do, because we're on the right side of it. We want to confront these guys. We want to have a conversation with these guys. These people have names and addresses. That's what people don't understand. I have a friend who's an oligarch for Goldman. I mean, the company that I worked for all through the 90s was a freelance firm that hedged Goldman's freaking portfolios. We hedged different charitable foundations, which make no mistake about it. Who do you think manages? That's what people think, oh, all Wall Street's corrupt. No, it isn't. They've taken the field, just like police. All police are corrupt. No, they're not. But the corrupt ones have taken the field because of the American populace. It's like I got in an argument with guys teaching my old class this morning. This guy's dumber. His name's Monty Ogden, dumber than a fucking dirt clod. High school teacher, doesn't have degrees, teaching my fucking class at Weber State. Weber State school business, #1 school business in the United States. In the United States via the testing. When I was teaching there. He got into this thing, he says, well, you know, the difference between Obama and FDR is Obama, whatever FDR asked the public for, he got, and FDR, I says, you're a stupid motherfucker. I says, you need to do some homework before you teach your class. Do you know how the first 2 years FDR was president, how many vetoes he signed? Look it up. More vetoes than the rest of every other president combined in history. The American populace, and this is FDR words. How did I become a traitor to my class? He was an oligarch. The American populace forced me to change. The American populace will not, because the American populace are cowards. They finally found the Trump card. They finally found the cut card. They found that America will not freaking rise up. Overwork them. Pull the plug on tariffs. Pull the plug on a tariff. Then they spiral out of control with work, and then they become fear. They become afraid because they've lost their enlightenment. You're working 40 hours a week. You have time to be self-confident. You have time to be beautiful. You have time to be strong. You have time to worship art and look at art. You have time to freaking read literature and understand. You become time to have educators. Overworked, you have no time for nothing. They pulled the plug. They knew exactly what, in 1980, exactly 34 years ago yesterday. That's the day my daughter was conceived. Right before Fawn McKay was freaking, she died, who I knew. That was the day John Lennon, on Monday Night Football, how it goes, so I'm laying there on the couch, hungover, freaking, I'm young. We're too young to be living together, me and my first freaking wife. We're way too young to be together, but we're together. Just moved into a little apartment. You got to realize, he never said I'm bigger than God. He never said that. He never said that. It's the far radical right spun that. They spun that, and they geeked this Chapman kid up. They geek just like they do now. They geek these far freaking radical, geek these people up and lie. He said, I am more freaking more famous than God right now. It's in satire, which he was. He was a good person, very good person. No hell below us, above us only sky. As you know, my video, I changed that yesterday too. No healthy clouds above us, below us only lies. You can look it up. People can argue with me. The election of Reagan, you know, the Bechtel executive, who was a Democrat, who jumped ship because of, he was told to jump ship. You know, you think it's irony. They left the hostages go on Iran the day he says, the second he swore in. He takes the field. Well, he was only able to do what he was able to do. The astrologer told him to be anti-nuclear, which he was anti-nuclear. He would be considered a raving lunatic liberal. By the way, he's the one that opened the border in Mexico. Reagan opened the border. John Lennon is killed. It's announced by Howard Cosell. Howard Cosell knew him personally. This country was over. The greatest art movement in world history, bar none, had been going on. The greatest middle class in world history had been going on. 1945 to 1980, the strongest middle class in human history, bar none, the United States of America. Tax rate 91% on the 1%. Why did politicians go for this? Because it is representative government. What happened in 1934? Glass-Steagall, look it up. Look at the picture between Glass and Steagall. Mariner, I knew him very personally. Very personally. If FDR is a traitor to his class, then what am I? Because they got it. They got it. They were, I mean, they understood. FDR had polio. Let's not forget. He was sick. He got it. Let's see. He was married to whose niece? His own cousin. Eleanor was who? Oh, yeah, he committed suicide, but Teddy. She loved Teddy. She understood Teddy. Let's see. Teddy set aside national parks. You know how radical that was. You know, by the way, he was never elected. The great progressive movement was born. You know, how did that come about? Oh, the shirtwaist fire. I was leading up my 100th anniversary as a socioeconomist, my post-ignorance, to the 100th anniversary of the shirtwaist fire. March 25th, 2011. I stood in those horrible winter of 2010 in New York City. Went over, stood in front of Jackson Pollock and Motherwell, the real original studio, which had just been exposed by a PhD. A young person had done their PhD on, hey, let's find out where the real studio is. The real studio on 8th, right there by NYU, where everything ever happened at Washington Square, which I knew that everything ever happened in the history of the country, including the takeover of Cuba by Castro, including freaking Hamilton, and the first abolitionists. I can go on and on. How about the Gay Pride March right there? I can go on and on and on. And when Motherwell and freaking Pollock were discovered. All of it. Right there. Right there. So I'm there. All winter. Right there at NYU. What happens? 2 weeks. You know, I'm standing there, you know, we're organizing. They're saying we're going to Lower freaking Wall Street. I'm like, why? There's nobody there. Well, that's where we're going to go. We're going to, you know, they weren't calling it Occupy. You know, they weren't even calling it Box Top or whatever bullshit. It was just us. Just crying. You know, I was calling it post-ignorance, and everybody was watching it. Everybody was watching me lead up. Something happened on the way to that place. They threw an American flag in my face. Called nuclearism. Oh, 2 weeks before. 3/11/11. Wow. Boom. Fukushima. I knew. There's a video up there where I was filming an American flag landing outside the Energy Solutions dump site. Metaphor, protesting it when it happened. I got home, I saw it, I was like, oh, God. You got to realize what it was to upload a YouTube video in those days. Anything like now, just push a button. Oh, no. That video took 6 hours to upload. I knew. I fucking knew. Anti-nuclear. I cried all fucking night. Had tears in me. But part of me was like, this is the end of the nuclear. It's finally going to, the American public is going to be exposed to these fucking, the greatest evil cartel of lying thieves in world history, the nuclear industry. Bar none. Why do you think all the greatest human rights activists in the history post-bomb go right to nuclearism? Martin Luther King, John Kennedy, Megan Rice. Why do they always go there? They know what I know. It's the greatest violation of human rights in freaking world history. It even violates people that are not even born yet, rights. It happens. I knew. I'm talking to everybody in New York, you know. I'm back home in Utah now. And they're like, oh, my God, Kevin, you've gone Fukushima crazy. We're still going. You coming? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. I don't like the name. I don't like the name Occupy. I'm arguing with them about the name. This was before it was even called Occupy. It was a cliche. We're going down to Occupy Wall. It was never called Occupy Wall Street. We're going to Occupy Wall. We're going down to sleep. We're taking over. You know, it was just a word. It was just a saying. I'm like, there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Let's do it in D.C. Let's do it in D.C. Let's do it at Washington Square. Let's do it at NYU. Let's do it underneath the Shirtwaist Fire building. which is the chemistry building at, like you now, PU. Let's do it there. Let's do it in Washington Square, where everything ever, where the abolitions were born, where the Gay Pride March was born, where Motherwell was found. I laid my skins right there, by the way, on the 103 anniversary. So I'm standing at UCLA with a megahorn in my mouth in the inception of Occupy. I'm in Salt Lake with a megahorn in my mouth. I got a stomach ache. I'm due to speak right there, right up the gate. I've got my plane figured. I'm headed there to Zuccotti. You know, I'm helping them with their original live streamers. I'm talking the original, and boom. I got a problem going on in my stomach. The day I'm to fly, late September, early October 2011. 7 months, my YouTube site, I'm saying, Fukushima's going to give you leukemia, it's going to give you leukemia. Look at the tags and all those early videos. Go to those early videos, go to my page, and look at those early videos. Cassandra, and not only Cassandra like on that, how Cassandra on the markets. The videos in the freaking 2011 or 2010. 47, get out of silver, buy the triple short. Freaking the day gold capitulates at 1901. Sell it, buy the Apple derivative. Buy Tesla at 16. I mean, I have not missed one financial call. I'm trading my portfolio, freaking rising up like water. Wow, I hear the voices of my great-granddaughter. What an emotional freaking time that was in the street this year. I go to the emergency room thinking I have food poisoning. It's so intense. Long story short, misdiagnosed for 3 weeks. I'm losing 6 pounds a day. I mean, I've never been in pain, and I'm a tough dude. You think I was born with these scars across my face? It took years of living in this repressive, violent place. Everybody said for years, stay away and leave. Someone's got to stand and defend and fight. I'm one of these guys. I don't back down. I've never backed down. I've always known this when I was young. People tell you, we went to Weber High School, huge school. I was a great athlete when I was young, by the way. But I was small. My brother, much bigger. My family, I mean, probably the most famous athlete, one of the most famous athletic families in the history of the state. My family. You know, all those men, all those Blanch boys, they're all big. They're all strong, you know. I'm a mutated freaking genetic thing, but there I am. My long freaking hair, my long blonde hair, freaking whatever, fighting the 2 biggest bullies in the school, which was common for me. I was known as the bully buster. Half their size. Oh, I would take them on. I still do. I've always known my whole life there's only one way you handle a bully. One way. You got to fight him. And I'll say this to all you Canadian bullies who try me. Girls will be girls. You 7th grade girls up there will be girls. You're a fucking piece of this shit. You know, go do some more meth. Fucking dope freaks. Nothing worse than, you know, fucking these fucking dope addicts. I mean, ain't they pathetic? So I fight the bully. I ended up in a bone marrow transplant surgery, going in and out of coma. Continue to do my videos. The best activism I did, videos on Blue Castle. They're trying to build a nuclear reactor on the Green River. I'm doing videos outside of my room about Blue Castle with a central line hanger in the bone marrow. Right there. People were becoming aware. Whoa. I put the dagger in them. Of course, Hill of Utah hires Arnie Gundershield to come back while I'm in New York and tries to backdoor the entire case. By the way, I want people to know this in Utah and people around the country. Why do I not show up on you? I mean, I'm the most radical, intense activist in this state, bar none, by 1,000 times. How come you never show up on any of these events? And then I'm blackballed by the media here. 100% blackballed. In fact, I did the crippled horse video that made it up on KSL. I was interviewed on KSL at the 6 o'clock news, pulled by the 10 o'clock news. Our Standard Examiner freaking paper right here, long time feud, completely blackballed. No media will touch me with a 10-foot pole. I'm on a list. The Mormons have put me, yet they still count me. I protest here. I'm intense. I'm in radical, like Operation Jackrabbit out in the desert and London Fog, where they're going to release things, and they say there's nobody has stepped up and formally protested, which they know for a fact I have formally protested. By the way, no one will show up with me. They're afraid of me. Rightfully so. They're afraid. They're not afraid of me. They're afraid to be seen on camera with me because they think the cops will kill them. Rightfully so. Cops kill people like me left and right here. But I fear no evil. Before I know that the angels watch out over me. I know this is my place and this is my thing that I have to do. And I know that I'm watched over. I know there are my ancestors and my family and these handcart pushing romantics who settled this place, these beautiful, incredible people. I am the freaking direct bloodlines of Ike Potter. I am the direct bloodlines of Abraham Hunsaker, the Force, my grandpa. I am the most famous freaking Mormon bloodlines on all four corners. It is me. I know they watch out over me. They were not what these monsters are. So I fear no evil. Everybody says, how do you do this? Because I know that the angels watch out over me. I know this is my place. I knew this was my place in time before I got cancer. I used to picture the Western version of Hamlet when I was a little boy. When I got cancer, look, the type of cancer in my body is, no one survived it. No one. No one. One guy I know, Brian Morse. Sorry about the noise. Oh, hang on. We got some background noise here. But anyway, wow. Who knows what they're up to? Well, the noise ain't going away. I'm probably going to have to go outside. So anyway, this fight that I got in my cancer, wow, they're really not going to turn it off. Fucking lunatics. Wow. Disrespectful assholes. They know I'm doing my radio show. Fucking neocon pricks. They don't care. I'm in the hospital with a type of cancer in my body that no one survives. It's called de novo AML leukemia. It's killing me. There's a guy named Brian Morse who survived. I'm the first guy they know of in the world that has willingly done this without a bone marrow transplant. By the way, Huntsman is suing me for $1,400 for a phone conversation. And I told them straight up, bring it on. I want you to keep the lawsuit. Make sure we get it into a courtroom because I got a YouTube site, and we're going to expose Huntsman Cancer Chemical. Let's make no mistake about Huntsman Cancer. They claim to be the biggest institution, this great institution. Everybody in Utah thinks they cure cancer. Look them up. They don't even make the top 100. Huntsman Chemical. Just know that. 357 benzene plants that give you cancer. In their charter, they're not allowed to research the causation of cancer. Our hospital says it just like this. You want to go to Huntsman and stay in the hotel and die, go for it. You want to live, come here. I'll take living. So, Occupy is amped up. I'm in the fight of my life for my fucking life. Clean, going in and out of a coma. I know the stats. I'm a stats professor. I run regression. I know that fucking it's almost hopeless. But I got a couple Danish philosophy doctors who believe in me. Vincent Hansen, who knows my family. I come from a family of doctors. The fucking great neurosurgeon, maybe the greatest neurosurgeon in the world right now, my uncle. The guy who invented fucking open heart surgery. Thomas, my uncle. Started the on. That's him. His old partner. He believed in me. He said, Kevin, I know you. I know your intense rhetoric. I know how. And I said, well, why don't any of you fuckers listen to me? You're telling me it's carcinoid cancer in my liver and fucking, and he says, no, I'm glad you didn't have that surgery and you told all these doctors to fuck off. Passed out on the bathroom floor, sicker than fuck. He believed in me. His brother and father both died of fucking thyroid cancer to live in downwinders of Utah. He listened to my lecture. He knew it. Beautiful man. He took a chance on me. I landed down there with Thimble Peterson from Copenhagen, Denmark. J.D. Schwab, he took a chance on me. I'm alive. A lot of this fight has been an incredible fight. They're actually going to name the new treatment. They're going to name it after me. Worldwide. By the way, my doctor, two of my doctors, we have a team of 11 doctors. Julie born on my exact same day. We're talking to some of the most famous oncologists in the world. They take on cutting-edge hardcore. My case made the American Medical Journal. They're going to name this treatment after me. They've been watching me. I have not taken one piece of medicine in my body now for over 2 years. We had this argument down there the other day, some young intern. Well, God, where are your I says, you ain't shit. What are you talking about? Another neocon, PA. I says, don't talk to me like that, motherfucker. And boy, the doctor let him have it. He says, well, where are your primary? I says, no, you're not. You don't do nothing for me. Look at the fucking chart, you fucking asshole. You haven't done one thing for me for 2 years. What I've done for you, you should be paying me. By the way, I says, Mike Lee cut me off Medicaid illegally. illegally. I was taken off Medicaid. Do you know how much money? And by the way, I got no Social Security. And I paid millions into Social Security. I was too sick to fight with them, and just like my father, when he was nuked to death in the Nevada test site. And people in America think those guys got checks. They never got one single penny. None of them. I'm head of the Atomic Veterans. Not one of them got a dime. Support personnel that was robbed and cheated got money. They never got no money. They destroyed their records. The St. Louis fire. None of them got a dime. Not a medal, not enough. They spit in my mother's face. All of them. Oh, now their kids are dying. We know it's genetically passing through. All kinds of freaking helmets are dying. 40,000, not the ones you see in the videos. The 40,000 Marines were put human guinea pigs right at the blast. Put right at the blast. A lot of them were killed at the blast. They were loaded, knocked out, completely cold, woke up in hospitals in San Diego, fed them LSD with their tonsils cut out. Every one of them, their tonsils were gone when they woke up. The tonsils were in the jars at Livermore and Cal Berkeley. I know for a fact because I sued the Justice Department 20 fucking times. My uncle, my dad's younger brother, who played in the NFL for the Rams, the greatest athlete to ever come out of this fucking state, one of them at the time. The general at the Pentagon, my dad's younger brother, he dug into it. He and I worked on this together. So outraged, so outraged. We're talking a general in the United States Air Force. The fighter pilot who flew the very first mission into Vietnam, that lays on to fucking LBJ. That's my uncle, who raised me. He fucking walked. He walked. That's how pissed off he is about all this. He's still alive, by the way. My other dad's a brother who's still on Omaha Beach on D-Day, who just passed this year. One of the guys who stormed Berlin, or in the Battle of the Bulge. Got to hear him go off about it. Such a fucking outrage and disgrace. Now they will try to make a sequel out of me. Of course, despite that I was ever born to set this right. Impossible fight? Of course it's an impossible fight. But does that mean we don't fight it? No, because that's what it is. Isn't America the impossible dream? I mean, you think about this impossible American experiment, which went on for a long time, and we failed. It worked for a long time. I mean, because we had men that were fucking brave, not with a fucking gun, men that stood up with their fucking minds. We have a populace that is so fucking coward and afraid of their own shadow. They'd make up words like ISIS and throw them in your face, and you cower down and shiver and shake. Go get your guns and hide under your mama's fucking table. That's America, home of the cowards. Think about to even own a handgun, be toting it around. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Let's go to the America. Let the cowards rise up. Because the brave did not rise up. Destroyed all integrity. Overworked? Absolutely. Average person working 40 hours a week in 1975. Mom had, 5 kids, raising them in a fucking house. Had plenty of money. Plenty of money. One guy. Government didn't have to give you fucking insurance. Because the working class had all the power. Your company wasn't going to give you Blue Cross, Blue Shield, great insurance. You told them to fuck off, and you walked down the road to the next guy. Because we weren't competing with 37 cents an hour slaves in China. We didn't have Mexicans flooding in here over the freaking border. There was never no fence, because if you paid a person cash, because communities had freaking honor and dignity among each other. They believed usury was evil. They did not believe in exploiting people in a hungry situation. If you had pulled up as a contractor with a crew of so-called illegals, around people that did not speak English, on a job site and paying them cash, the owner probably would have come out and shot you. I was a contractor in this town for 35 years. Stuck up very, very strict. Everybody knew me. The biggest stuck contractor in the state of Utah, bar none, was me. You got to see me go across the wall with a Hawken truck. 10,000 frescoes in this freaking town. 10,000, including the Masonic Temple, including the tree in the children's room, including the Brownie Center ceilings. That's all me. That's all me with my Hawken trial. Only laughing plaster left in the state. I'm the last of the Mohicans. Can't touch my Hawken trial now because I have leukemia. Can't touch it. The sad, sad commentary of what they've done to us. But the American populace, some men you just can't reach. That's the way he wants it. That's the way he gets it. Fighting leukemia, I've said the whole time, is just like that movie. George Kennedy, he's leukemia. I'm Luke in that fight. Look at that fight. Why don't you just give up? Why don't you just stay down? Nope. Beat the fuck at it. Nope. Beat the fuck at it. Here's where people need to think. Now, Jamie Dimon, they're putting out a propaganda piece that he's cancer-free. Now, let me tell you why this is taboo. They did the same thing with Steve Jobs. I understand cancer. These hardcore, radical, Tony Gwynn. I mean, Valerie Harper, all these people that say this. It is a mistake. Don't say it. The word cure is taboo. The word cancer-free is taboo. I know that. Have you ever heard me declare it fucking cured? Did you ever tell me, oh, it's gone, I'm done? Never. I know better because I've watched it too many times in my life. I know. All my friends, the whole big group that's in there with us. By the way, this is very important. The very first person who's been injected with the HIV, with AML, acute blastic leukemia, he actually has, Marshall. He and I are very close friends. We got sick the exact same time. He's in the hospital with me. His name's Marshall Jensen. Look it up on KSL. He's had 2 bone marrow transplants, by the way. He had to make the choice on the bone marrow transplant the exact same time I did. He was a lot younger than me. I prayed about it. I did a video, I wrote that poem. That's very real that came to me. You know, and I listened to the advice of my daughters because I believed in them. So did Marshall. He's the first guy in Philadelphia injected. By the way, it's such an honor because I was in Philadelphia at the same time he was when he came home. We didn't know that. You know, that young man, talk about a warrior in the fight of his life. It's just us. He and I are the only one, and a young woman. The whole group of us that went in there, and even the hospitals, like, my God, we've never seen a rash of death because post-Fukushima, we got hammered. I mean, I watched it. People declared themselves cured, compared themselves better. I'm like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Boom, right back, and it comes back, and I just mows you down because you're dead. You know how many funerals I've attended? You know, one of my best friends, lifelong, got sick the same time. And one of the people who lived around me got sick the same day. A whole group of us. They're all dead. You don't think I've had that wolf on my fucking neck fighting this epic, incredible fucking story that people can't wrap their... Yet I will be attacked by wolves for trying to fucking save your life and trying to save my own. Fighting for my life in an intense situation via YouTube camera. Telling one of the greatest stories ever told in the history of humanity. I'm telling it in detail and day, and yet I'm under attack. I'm under attack. Rats and trolls Canada try to keep me up. Make promises to me, lies to me. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Bait and switch. I mean, they played every dirty trick you can ever imagine on me. And I know I'm on my own. And I've found that out more and more as I go along. I've had some people support me for a while, and then they always quit me. That's okay. You know, that's all right. I know this is a lonely battle. I understand freaking Vincent fucking Van Gogh's battle. By the way, our bloodlines trace right back to him. It's an amazing story. I think the whole betrayal and everything that's going to come out is, you know, I have a couple paintings that people are very interested in the art community. You know, and let's hopefully I can get them sold before I die. And hopefully I won't die for a long time, and hopefully you won't. And hopefully we have the fight of our lives. And I'm here to tell you it's much more than diet. It's much more than a freaking thing. It's your spirit. It's the wolf spirit. It's your intensity. You can be vegan, you can freaking thing, you can be freaking and still be a prick and die. Ask Steve Chinese Jobs. Do you know how militant that guy was? Do you know how vegan he was? Do you know he wouldn't even take baths? Afraid of the water and the chemical. He knew about Santa Susana. He knew about playing with components in his fucking garage. But he was a fucking prick. He died. Jamie, you believe that he's fucking cancer-free? That's propaganda. Oh, it hurt shareholders. Remember how many times they told us that about Steve Chinese Jobs? One of my doctors was one of his doctors. I have an incredible team of doctors because they know they're setting the new playbook for this new type of this radical form of fucking leukemia to present what's called de novo, which has been a death sentence. They know they're changing the playbook. I'm changing the playbook. Comes in and tells this young PA, because this young PA is all, well, what do you mean you got cut off? You know, I says, yeah, you fucker. Well, you need a primary care thing. I says, yeah, I'm uninsured. Well, what about, I fell into the freaking, the in-between cycle. I was on Medicaid when the deadline was there. And I've been working on it, and you just jerk me right as I'm due to have surgery without being no Mike Lee, right as I got the cows kicked out of the Energy Solutions dump site, which, by the way, is Bundy and he, friends of his. By the way, they're back. So you eat your organic beef. Go ahead. I'm telling you, organic beef is worse to eat in this country than that because they're ranging them out there in the Bundy Range, which is the most toxic wasteland in the world. We have a young activist there who's autistic as fuck. He's so paranoid and so gonzo, he'll only talk to me. for a long time. His mom. That's what he does. He goes into the Bundy, where they're free-ranging, outside of Bunkerville, that's Mesquite, Nevada, right here. I was married to an FLDS girl. I was married into it. Hell, I was married into it. Wow, I lived it. Fuck, it's amazing. You should see the barrels of toxic waste they just dumped out there for years right there. He's ranging the cattle there. They're drinking it. Then it goes into the freaking food chain as listed as organic beef. Same thing. Yeah, I caught video of cows drinking water out of the burn facility. Right there drinking the water and put it up, and you guys still don't care. I caught video of Energy Solutions driving a hot reactor through East Lake. They don't care. Because I'm blackballed by the media. The videos are right there. You don't care. Oh, Kevin's just this crazy radical on YouTube. Says fuck over there. It's amazing to me, my activism, what I've done, what I've taught. I mean, I'm full-time at it, hardcore full-time, and I have no money. You know, I got wiped out. I turned 3,000. This is the irony of this whole thing, and I'll write a book about this. Cassandra, absolutely. I turned $3,000 in 2010 into $700,000 right on YouTube, right in your face, documented. Everybody arguing with me, arguing. I turned several people in the Bay Area into multi-millionaires off chump change. Made them sell their gold. They were a professor at Cal Berkeley. Says, the students are watching your videos, the finance students at Berkeley. He says, they got a drinking game. Every time you say the F word, I said, well, none of them will graduate. He says, they're arguing with me inside the classroom. Says, hey, this Kevin Blanch guy is freaking genius. We've been watching his financial calls, told us to short silver 47, and did it. When everybody else was out of the market, he's telling us to double down. He's telling us to buy this. He's telling us to unload it into the Apple derivative. Everything he does is it's gold. He's touching it. So we're listening to him there. Our professor's arguing with him. So I says, the day the gold capitulated, and I do it. That's impossible, right? To the day silver capitulated, I did videos telling you, get out and buy Tesla. 15, these kids did it. One kid went to his grandpa and says, hey, I had 4,400 shares of Tesla when I got sick that I paid chump change for. These kids unloaded into it. They still hold it. Do the math. I turned when I got leukemia, I had, how many derivatives I had? There's a video, famous video out there. In August, September of 2011, on the chalkboard in my old classroom, saying buy the Apple 480 out of the money call, the Aprils. They were $30 a piece. I'm saying unload in them. Get all you can. $269 to start with. The stock's melting down at the time, and Kramer's telling you get out. Everybody's telling you get out. This is when the Dow's dipping below 10,000 again. They were dead on. No, because I'm like, no, you don't get the dynamic. Did you know, though, every one of those derivatives are being worth $6,000 a piece from 30? That's impossible, right? They went into the money that far. I'm in the hospital dying. My uncle's like, Kevin, you still got money? And start mine. I said, well, I lost it all freaking in my divorces and the madness I went through. You know my story. He says, yeah, I do know your story. I never seen anybody go from that rich, from that Wall Street. Lived in the biggest house in Weber County. Everybody knows. Anybody listen to this radio, they know my house. Award-winning. You know, I'll tell you another crazy story about that. Bought 10 acres with cash, built the whole house with cash, round walls, interior lath and plaster, stained glass, big staircase. I mean, this is the most unique mosaics all over through the freaking tiled mosaics. The whole world. Nailed the sticks up, hammered down. They all turned on me like a freaking rat. And then my girlfriend, Annika, out of the blue, the feminine girl, dies of leukemia tragically. I was heartbroken. Death in my family. I was heartbroken. Wall Street was getting corrupt. I was heartbroken. I came home. I was home most of the time anyway. I was still teaching at the time. People don't understand Wall Street is computer screens. There's nobody on Wall Street. They're computer screens all over the world. That's how it works. I forked over all my money to get into the bone. My uncle's like, Kevin, do you know the rules? No, not exactly. You have AML de novo. You're going to LDS shop. Do you have understand how intense that ICU unit is in there? No. Well, you're going to find out. You know, we're probably talking $10,000 a day. You have to fork over everything you fucking have and hope you'll fucking put you on Medicaid. I wrote a check for every penny. He says, you'll be able to keep your house. One car. I didn't, I said, well, my car's a piece of shit right now anyway. My work truck's fucking broke down, fucking junker. Fucked it all over. Glad I did. Went in there. What a faith. What a war. What the most beautiful place in the world. By the way, the LDS hospital, Mormon Church has nothing to do with that hospital. Then you take the name down. It's historical. It's grand. That culture in that hospital is grand. Anybody in Utah, you get sick, don't go to McQuack-D here. This is a mass murder culture. The biggest hospital in the western United States is right here next to me in my house. They almost killed me. Their culture is evil and sick. Sent me home to die multiple times. I'm going to sue them. LDS, they loved me. They believed in me. They really did love me. They still love me. My doctors decided a lot of punks going off on me in there. He says, well, God, you don't even provoke. What are we? I said, listen, you motherfucker. Do you understand what I've done for this hospital? Do you have any? Oh, I went off on him. You talk to me like that, probably came in, I'll knock you on your ass. Fucking punk. He says, you know how much I paid into the thing and you guys gave me nothing? Murder my father? Fucking murder me and fuck you. You're the you piece of shit. Oh, I went crazy in there. Doctor's like, you're wrong. Kevin's right. You've done not one pill. All you do is monitor my situation and quiz me and take notes on how I've survived. She's like, Kevin's the one who's wrote the playbook on this survival. We didn't save him. He's saving us. I says, you want to send me a bill? Fuck you. Fuck you. I'll walk. Because I told them 2 years, I'm never coming back here. Fuck you. I'm walking. I'm not doing. You're not doing anything for me anyway. Checking my blood and saying, quizzing me, what are you doing? But my doctors believe in me. They believe in my intense fight. They watch my videos. They know everything about me in detail. My wolf spirit. I've known it. I believe in you the way you're smart. I show that wolf spirit. I took heavy chemo in my fucking shoulder. Heavy for months and months and months and months. The heaviest you kill every cell in my body. Pigment out of my eye. There's on my fucking tongue. Fucking 119 fucking pounds. Shriveled up the fucking up. Going in and out of a coma. What without food and water for God knows how long. Lived on a bag. Lived on Boost fucking Plus for fucking months and months. Struggled and fought every fucking day. Did not go down swinging. Fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. Kept me alive. Platelet counts of under at 8. They say you dot dead at 15. My platelet counts were under 15 multiple times. Hundreds of blood transfusions. Hundreds. Kept my YouTube site going. While under attack, while I'm in critical condition, going in and out, and this is a fact. Emails from Chris Busby going after me. Emails from Helen freaking Keldicott's publicist going after me. Emails from Arnie Gunderson going after me. I have Gunderson freaking and Helen's fucking comments, her publicist, in the early days, the very first videos I did. I have them. I had to block them both. Tell me I was full of shit I didn't know what I was talking about, and these were hydrogen glasses. Do you know how long it took me to convince anybody this was even a meltdown? Nobody said it was a meltdown. Nobody said me. I'm going crazy about it. Oh, I'm crazy. And history will record it. You won't see it now. Because of the rats and the trolls. Everybody thinks they think this is a giant competition. They think they're still on the winning team. Popism died 3/11/11. I stood in the winter, 2010. Went and found Pollock's freaking original studio. Did a video. Nobody watched it. Nobody. 6 or 8 views. 3 years in the hospital. Fighting for my life. Traveling around the country and make it back. I've been to New York City lots of times in my fight. Standing in front of freaking in Williamsburg. Started crying. Broke down. I don't know why I broke down that day. The day that Aaron Swartz died. January 11th, the same day that my father died. Different years, same date. They're off and I'm very sick. Fighting. 3 years later, we show up. A bunch of people show up at the Shirtwaist Fire gig, the biggest turnout ever. Let's go to lunch. We go to lunch. We land right in Pollock's first studio and didn't even know it, with a group of artists. We'll talk more about this on Thursday. This is an intense fight in a fascist land. And history will record us as the fascist. America is fascist. The most fascist place in the history of mankind. The military police zone, not going to happen? Happen. And why? Because you like it that way. Coward.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical.